Hi, everybody. I'm Brendan Murphy,
Matthew Brown.
and this is a few good movies, and not a traditional few good movies episode. Um, I've been market testing a new good movie for this kind of thing, where it's just we're going to be talking about a new movie that comes out this week. Today, it's going to be Borat 2, which dropped last night. We both watched it. I watched it after the debate. I don't know if you watched the debate or not, but I watched that and then watched Borat 2, which was maybe the best way to watch Borat 2. Like,
I did
kind of
actually.
incredible.
I watched
Yeah.
like the first 45 minutes of the debate. I don't think I watched the whole thing. I watched like the first hour though. But then
Yeah.
then I watched it shortly after.
Yeah. And, which is the best double feature you could hope for, honestly. Like,
An unexpected double.
unexpectedly is. Because now I feel like we should kind of start this off by talking about our experience with the first Borat, because we haven't really talked about that at all over our episodes. But I would just first like to say, as kind of an introduction to how I kind of look at these two movies. I think Borat 2 is this kind of perfect document of America during the Bush era, kind of completely covers all the bases, gives you a look at what's going on in the country, everything like that during that. That along with maybe a couple other comedies, I think the Adam McKay comedies are pretty good at it. Like Talladega Nights is also a pretty good look at Bush era America. And then this is just a plea. This is after living through 3-4 years of Trump's. I feel like Sacha Baron Cohen is just like, guys, look at what's happening right now. Look what we've let happen. And I mean, I think there's a reason they released it right before the election. We are, I think,
100%.
either 12 or 11 days out right now as we're recording. So, there's obviously some strategy to it. And I mean, the movie ends with a vote now or that kind of message where it's just Sacha Baron Cohen and the movie literally telling you, go vote. Even Kazakhstan is laughing at you guys, you morons.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, at one point, obviously because we're from America, watching it is you laugh, but you're almost terrified. You're like, this.
Oh, you're crying a little
real
bit.
People. This is real.
Which don't want to get too much into it now because I'm sure there are people watching this who haven't watched the movie yet. I don't want to spoil too much, but so I guess we'll just start off with the first Borat. So, what was your experience coming to the first Borat? Did you see it in theaters? Did you see it a little while after?
Yeah, no, I did see it in theaters.
Okay.
I've seen it collectively probably 20 times, but then I even just watched it a few weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I guess maybe for preparation for this, but really I just kind of had an itching to watch it.
Yeah.
And, dude, one of the funniest movies ever.
Oh, 100%.
It is
100%.
So, I mean, almost every scene, especially that first one, because obviously nobody knows Borat, so I mean,
yeah,
everything is pure and raw, and oh man, some of those scenes are out of control.
Oh, 100%. Because I watched it again earlier this week in preparation. My experience was I actually saw it way later. I don't know if I've talked about it on here. I feel like I have, but lived in a very sheltered household where Borat would not have been allowed in any way, shape, or form. Okay. So I didn't see it until maybe my sophomore year of college, which places that about maybe 5-6 years ago, something like that.
So wow, it's been a while. That movie had been out already for
Oh yeah, it had already been out.
8?
Yeah, for about a decade, if not more than a decade.
Wow.
But here's the thing that is kind of great about the first one. Those jokes have been run into the ground. Everyone's Borat impersonation kind of sucks. Everyone has said my life and done all the shit 1,000 times. A very nice, everyone did and drove it into the ground like they did with every comedy that came out.
Sure.
From 2000 to 2015.
That was the era of quoting comedies.
Yeah.
Talladega Nights, all of that stuff. Pineapple Express.
Anchorman and Anchorman and The Hangover, the two biggest offenders, where even when I watch those movies, I can't even get the same enjoyment out of them anymore than I used to, just because it's so run into the ground. But
Anchorman specifically, dude. I know because of my best friend Bren, who I can't stand because he says them too much. I know every single quote.
Yeah, it's the worst.
Every single quote, dude.
It's the worst. But Borat hasn't lost an ounce of its charm or its humor. Like, it's still hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I had a buddy who just saw it for the first time like a week or two ago, and he's still like, oh my God, that's one of the funniest movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Like, consistently across the board, I feel like if you talk to people about Borat, everyone's on board. Everyone loves it. Everyone thinks it's funny. Everyone thinks it's one of the funniest movies ever made.
It just, for some reason, because it doesn't appeal to like a certain crowd base, it appeals to everyone. Like, the person who took me to see it was my older stepdad. My mom wouldn't let me see it, but he convinced her. He's like, no, I'm going to take you. And so we just went and saw it in theaters, and it was, I got to think, 2008. So, I mean, I was only, I guess I was like 13, 14. So, I mean, probably shouldn't have saw it when I was 14.
No. But, like, also, I feel like it's kind of this thing, and now this is maybe putting a little too much on the pedestal of Borat, but I feel like it's kind of something everyone kind of has to watch, because I feel like if you have to understand modern America with, like, one piece of media, Borat is maybe your, like, best chance at it. I feel like it covers pretty much every aspect.
It's certainly like a cultural phenomenon, if that's what you call it. It's certainly, because you take this such wild character that fits with nothing, he's able to go into, like you said, I mean, like that scene, one of the funniest scenes is when he goes down into the hood and he learns how to talk, and then he goes to that hotel right after. Wow, man. First of all, that's just entirely, that's such an inappropriate scene, but
absolutely,
wow, man, it is so, it's like you're saying with it's able to encapsulate all parts of the culture so well, because he's able to get into every little nook and cranny.
And I think it also especially has a lot of power these days, because I feel like going back to the 2016 election, and I hate to make this so political, but like it kind of is, like especially this movie, like Borat 2 is insanely political. The first one is too, but like this one is much more on the nose about it.
It like has an agenda at the end. Like there's a reason he's giving you this information for sure.
Yeah. Like I don't think Sacha Baron Cohen, like this man made it during the pandemic.
Right.
Like I don't think Sacha Baron Cohen would have felt like this was important enough to make during the pandemic unless he had like something super important to say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, especially seeing Sacha Baron Cohen and like outside of film, how much of a advocate and how big of a voice he is about so many things. Yeah, this wasn't just a hey, let's go out and entertain. I mean, it was, but there's a much more of a motive behind this one, as opposed to the first one. I think was just pure entertainment.
Yeah,
also just showing some stupidity.
Because I mean, I feel like now I think people are obviously talking about this a little bit, but like the like determination, because I don't know how far into filming, because I think about halfway through the movie is when they get to actually get to like Pence and everything, and it's the first time you hear the words coronavirus in the movie, or like COVID-19 or something like that.
Actually, they get to Pence even earlier than that, because I specifically remember pausing it last night when I was at that park. I was like, how are we up to the end already? Because I thought that was what it was all about. It was about 30 minutes in. So it was about a third of the way through.
Okay. So about a third of the way through the movie, like to have that going on and not just be like, we're going to pick this up afterwards. Like, no, immediately they take all the coronavirus stuff in stride. Like, and I don't know if the movie takes on a whole new meaning after the coronavirus thing. I don't know, like, what the creative team, like, how they dealt with it. But it's, like, kind of incredible.
Yeah, that is interesting because, you know, Trump wasn't exactly killing it before. Yeah. But he wasn't, like, I mean, you know, I don't think it was so bad where, like, this has been such a blaring, like.
Yeah.
Like, how not to do it.
It's like, guys, it's been going on for like 3 years. Do we got to do this to like make sure that you know that like this is not going to go our way?
This is where it blows my mind that like there's still a debate about if this thing's real. Like this is how it shows how crazy we're like so divided and so. Sorry to go off a little bit here, but like I was even reading this article about how like because Donald Trump has said fake news so many times, like psychologically people are actually like feeding into it. And they're more open to the idea of calling out news and thinking it's fake now. And they take credibility away. And it's crazy. We're doing it to scientists at this point. It doesn't even make sense.
No, I agree. I mean, well, there's a big section of the movie where it's like, he's with these two guys in a cabin and like, they're just talking about conspiracy theories for like 4 months. Like, it's crazy. But to get back to the first Borat for a sec, like I think why that movie works so well today, too, just as well as it did in 2008. Like, I feel like everyone's kind of blindsided by the 2016 election that we would elect someone like Donald Trump, everything like that. There's this huge base ready to vote for someone like that. I feel like you look at this movie and all of the warning signs are there. It's just like right in front of you. And everyone kind of laughed it off, just like they did Donald Trump when he first like went down the escalator and everything. Like, we thought it was a joke. And it's like, no, this is a problem, one that we have to deal with. And now that it's actually like the chickens have come home to roost, like, you know, it shows how prescient that first movie is. Like, really to have like the foresight to know, like, maybe not that this is going to be a huge problem, but to like see like, guys, these people are out there and like, you're just not really bringing it up. Like, America has this like kind of dark underbelly to it. We kind of need to address it.
No, 100%. Like, and I guess that's what's interesting because, you know, when you watch the first one, at that point, you know, like, you know, it's pure entertainment. I mean, I mean, obviously I was 14, but I never watched that movie and was like, oh shit, this stuff's out here. We gotta shape up before Donald Trump becomes president or something like, you know, I don't think that thought was crossed anybody's mind.
No.
But yeah, like you said, it's such an extreme, if you look at it on like a grand scale now, you're like, you want to talk about foreshadowing people? It was right there. Sacha Baron Cohen showed us everything and we just took it as entertainment and made fun of the character.
Yeah, exactly.
Quoted him.
It's crazy because like what I was going to kind of say earlier is like, I feel like the closest other kind of movie to this is like kind of Jackass. Like, I feel like there's that same kind of like cinema verite, like kind of just like, we're going to do this shit for real. We're like going to bring in this thing. We're going to do it for real. Like, obviously everybody in Jackass knows it's Jackass are going to do their thing. But like, Borat's approach where it's just like, the only guy who's in on it is Sacha and the guy he's with. I forget who the actor is and what the character's name is, but like basically like his boss through the whole movie. He was like telling him what he needs to do and everything. Like, those are the only two guys. Everyone else is being played for a sucker, essentially.
Yeah. In the first one, 100%. Yeah, everyone's getting played.
Yeah. And then, like, I don't know, like, this movie does that for the most part, but, like, also there are a couple, like, really nice moments with some of these people. Like, I think to the, like, I don't know. Maybe we should talk about this a little later. Maybe we should just give, like, our initial thoughts on Borat 2, just kind of how we felt about it.
Okay.
Just to be like, so we don't spoil for people who haven't seen it.
Okay.
Personally, I was a big fan. I think it's like on the same level as the first part. I think if you enjoyed the first one, I think you'll enjoy the second one just as much, maybe like a little less, but like, I don't think it'll be like, I don't think people who like the first one will be like super disappointed by this one. I think it has the same energy, but I know you disagree with me a little bit.
I was going to say, I wasn't super disappointed. And I just want to put a disclaimer out there.
Yeah.
When I first started watching it, I didn't go in thinking, okay, it's going to be better. Like, I already off top was like, no expectations. Don't compare it. Just watch this one and see what happens.
You can't do that, especially with comedy sequels.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, all right, get that out of your brain. Throw that away. Just watch it and just see. And it was good. It was definitely entertaining. But... And I understand it's hard to get as candid as you did in the first one simply because of, well, like, you know, some of the things he even touched on at the beginning. Like, you know, everybody knows him now. You can't. You know,
you can't do it.
Yeah, it's hard to hide that. So I understand that. But it was just a little too narrative for me. You know, it felt too much like the first one, just like I said, just feels like raw, candid events that they recorded and they just put together. Yeah, there's the story, but it's pretty loose. I mean, it's a pretty loose story. Well, this one, it's like, if there's certain things they didn't shoot, this might not have made sense. Like, it felt like they were really going for a storyline, and I liked it, but it was where let's say the first one to me is a 9 out of 10. This one gets a 6 out of 10. It was funny. It was hilarious. There was definitely parts where I was cracking up and parts where I was like, this is crazy. How do you, again, how do you get people to even do this stuff, even on like, how do you, it's wild. But sometimes there was a couple parts where it was too acty for me, and it kind of just, and it sounds funny, but the acty part is what took me out of it. Okay.
It's fair. You can definitely see that. Because, I mean, the first one thrives off of how real it is, except for him.
Exactly.
You just put in this agent of chaos into the real world and, like, see what happens.
Exactly.
I can see where you're talking with the narrative stuff, but I feel like, because obviously the first one is, there's not really a plot. There's the plot of like he wants to go kidnap Pamela Anderson, which is in itself just like a joke. Like it's a joke.
He puts a bag around her for 10 seconds and that fails miserably.
Yeah,
like,
that's the climax of the movie, but there's no like build, there's no like structure to it. It's just like we're gonna go like across the country. We're gonna see like what's going on in like all these different places, like see all these different classes and cultures within America, and we're gonna just like see how they react to this guy.
Exactly, and that feels like the plot of the first one, so that's why. But shit, by the time you get to the Pamela part in the first one,
yeah,
you're not even really. You're like, oh shit, I forgot we're still doing this. I was caught up in the jokes.
Yeah, and I think that's why it feels so much like I said, like Jackass, where it's just like we're literally like, here's the next stunt, here's the next stunt.
Exactly.
Even when it does the narrative stuff, like one of the moments I remember like laughing the hardest at in the first one was when Borat and his boss just like come running through this big conference room, just buck ass nude. Like I was just like, and that's like part of the narrative. The stuff that's narrative here actually feels like you're right. Like it is actually trying to tell a story a little bit.
Yes.
And I kind of appreciated that, honestly.
Sure.
I can see how it could turn some people off. It's definitely something that's different from the first one. But I think a lot of why I like it is the new actress they bring in, Maria Bakalova, who plays Tutar, Borat's daughter, who I think is incredible. I think
she's great.
She gives an amazing performance. To dedicate herself to this role as much as Sacha Baron Cohen does Borat is amazing. Like, the fact she like doesn't break, she's always game for the next one. She's always in. She also like, I feel like has an innocence to her because obviously she's like playing a 15-year-old girl, but like it brings like, I don't know, it brings a sense of like, okay, so the movie at the end is trying to tell us like to vote and to educate ourselves and everything like that. And I think the reason she's there is because the movie also has to tell us why we should. And I think her being there answers all these questions, and her story like answers those questions.
Yes.
If that makes any sense.
Definitely. No, definitely.
Yeah.
Because I mean, obviously Borat would have never been able to get into that same position and, you know, be able to show some things like that, which, you know, has been a theme throughout, you know, these 4 years. This was brought up even before. This has been discussed, you know, about.
For sure.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it's I just lost my train of thought there. Damn it.
Very good.
What the hell was I gonna say, dude?
Not
I don't know. Must not have been that important, I guess.
No, that's all good. But I think also her presence brings some of the best bits in the movie. Like I think having a female there, because obviously in the first movie they're just talking to Borat. And like some of the stuff they're saying to Borat is just like them and Borat just like, hey, we're a couple guys, like that locker room talk. And the fact that they get her in there and they still do the exact same shit, like no shit, like it's crazy. Like the situations that her being there brings up, like there's a scene at an anti-abortion clinic that is one of my favorites in the entire movie. I couldn't stop laughing. Like at how crazy, just like, and you can't get that without her and like stuff like that. And I think if I have to sacrifice a little bit with like some of the narrative dragging here and there, that's fine. I mean, I feel like I have the same problems with the first Borat when it ever does any of the narrative stuff. So like, that's fine. And I kind of expected that, but like, man, I'm just so glad she's there to like, just give this performance. Like she's awesome. Like, especially, we're not going to spoil too much, but she like has a trajectory in the third act that's like kind of incredible.
Yes.
And like is another just like, look at what we were able to do. And it's not the Giuliani stuff. I know we're going to talk about the Giuliani stuff. Everyone knows about the Giuliani stuff. It's been a huge story, but it's not just specifically that. We'll get into that later. So I don't know. Is there anything else you want to say before we get into spoiler territory?
No, I don't really think so. I mean, you're right. You do have to appreciate the narrative. I guess to just, you know, play the other side one more time.
Yeah.
I guess for me, it's just, I understand the reason behind the movie and the political aspects of it, and I can appreciate it. I really can. but I've always just kind of been a person who is not the biggest fan of putting politics into a movie. I understand the severity of like what we're at right now, so like I would never go against it. That would just be like that, like that's what's like really like sets it for me, where it's like, you know, it doesn't land with me like the first one.
Yeah.
That's all it really is. And
yeah,
it's certainly a me thing. Like that's my own problem. But that is why it gets a little bit downgraded for me for sure, is because I knew they were gonna politicize it. I mean, I knew it, but I was like, maybe they'll still be super just like, I sound so lame here by just being like, I just want films to be just entertainment. Yeah. But, you know, that was kind of what I was going for. Yeah. I wasn't completely satisfied on that end.
Yeah. And I feel like, obviously, there's that experience you have in the theater. Because I wish I would have been able to see the first Borat in the theater. I wish the movie theaters were still open so I could see the second one in the theater. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm sure there's just, like, a pure enjoyment factor that you get out of that first one. But for me, I think every movie is political. I think if a movie decides to not be political, it's already making a political decision. Okay. So,
explain.
So, like, by a movie deciding to not be political, it's deciding to shut out the outside world and not really have anything to say about it. And just be like, we're not going to care about Trump or anything like that. They've decided to just, like, not give a shit. Okay. Which I think is a political decision. And I think, you know, it's not absolutely going one way or the other, but it's also like you're being super passive and not trying to say anything about what's going on in the world right now.
For sure.
So it's just that thing for me where it's just like, I admire how political this movie is and still is like just flat out entertaining. Like, it's one of the funnier movies. It's like one of my favorite movies of the year, probably. Now, I know this is a weird year and it has a big asterisk next to it because not a whole lot of movies are out and there's not a lot of movies that we can see.
Right.
But like, you know, I had a great time watching it. Like minute one, I was already like laughing my ass off. So yeah, it's just, it's a good time. I think, you know, like I said, if you're a fan of the first one, I don't know why you wouldn't at least try to give this one a try. Like, I would definitely recommend it for sure.
It's comforting to hear Borat's voice again. When it first starts and you get into it, you're like, wow, here we go. We're really we're gonna go again, huh?
Yeah. And I mean, there's just like a good couple, like first time, like the bit where he can't be Borat anymore because everyone recognizes him. Because one thing I love about this movie is obviously the first one takes place in the real world and the second one takes place in the real world. And the way they bridge the gap is like literally they confront the fact that like Borat was a smash box office success. It's this huge movie. Like it embarrassed the nation of Kazakhstan and like all of this. Like I love that it makes that decision and like Borat can't be Borat. And you get so many like more characters out of Sacha Baron Cohen than just Borat himself.
Which is really fun, especially if you've seen, what was the name? What's that show? We were just talking about it yesterday.
I think it's like, it's either like This Is America or Who Is America. It's like Something Is America.
Yeah, I think it's Who Is America. But yeah, anyway, it's that show that Sacha Baron Cohen has all these characters that he's, you know, he's already had some pretty, you know, viral bits that he's done some crazy stuff on that show.
Yeah.
Well, you know, waterboarding and all that. But yeah, so it's kind of, once they went down that avenue of approaching, okay, Borat has to be different people, I kind of got excited because I was like, all right, now we're going to get to see even more sides because Borat's funny. He's great. But seeing how well he's done other characters, you're like, okay, now we get to experience the whole spectrum, which was definitely exciting.
Yeah, because I mean, you know, Borat just started out as like another character on Ollie G's show, like, and everything like that. And like, he's just so good at like, I mean, still to this day, like the man is able to trick people. It's just like how good his makeup team is. Like all these characters he comes up with, all these voices that he's able to disguise himself. Like even though Borat was such a success and everyone knows who Sacha Baron Cohen is, like he's still able to get people just because of how good he's able to like camouflage himself.
And what you got to appreciate is he's trying to do these American accents as Borat, which is like so. That's such impressive voice work to be able to not only like now you're going American, but like you're playing Borat trying to play an American and you could hear all of that in the voice.
Yeah. For sure.
It's super impressive. Like,
and I mean,
Country Steve, when he does the Country Steve, it's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I was gonna bring up, one of my favorite things is every time he comes out with like a new American character, it's some like the most bland, like white ass basic like name like ever. Like, it's funny to me. Like, I love that. I love that shit.
Did you hear the name he gave himself when he was dressed up in the KKK outfit?
I forget. What was it?
He said, "My name's Steve Miller. I'm here for Republican."
Well, that's Trump's guy. That's one of his guys. Is Stephen Miller.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Steve Miller. He says it real, like, it's in the chaos of it, so it's like hard to, it's not right up front. But when I heard it, dude, I actually screamed out loud. It was so funny. I was like, he did not just say I'm Steve.
Well, I mean, it's the thing too. It's like that's Sacha Baron Cohen. Like, he's got a lot of shit like that in this movie. Like, I think this movie shocks just as much as the first one did. Like, just that, like, holy fucking shit, did they just do that? And why am I laughing at it? But like, I can't stop laughing at it.
I think what's sad is how not shocked I am just over watching, just, being in this country the last couple of years and just watching the course of everything. I think that was what was sad to me, is that, like, it was shocking to see this stuff. There's certainly some things I'm like, holy shit. Yeah. But I think I've been saying holy shit so much lately these days that I was like, damn, I'm pretty numb to us acting like this. This is crazy.
For sure. But like, it still hurts to see it. Like, as much as like, it's tough pill to swallow.
The problem, man, like the real problem, I'm gonna just go ahead and give people, so I'm from Missouri.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Democratic person in Missouri, so I don't live. It's not why I don't live there. I can't.
I get it.
I want to be, but it's like, the people. Let's put it this way: everybody in my family is going to vote for Donald Trump except my father. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But that was kind of what was like real sad, is when I was watching some of those bits of like those people talking about the Democrats are worse than the virus and stuff. Yeah. I just kind of almost had PTSD because, dude, I was like, damn, this reminds me of a conversation somebody tried to give me 4 months ago. I was like, this is wild, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I'm born in New Jersey, but I was raised in South Carolina. Oh, yeah. So, like, I get it. Like, even though my family's from the North, like, most of them going to vote for Trump. Makes me upset. Had to have those, like, hard conversations with them. It's not a fun time. But, like, yeah, man, I mean, it's just, like, it's hard to think that these guys are all in the same camp and they all vote for the same person. It's just, like, it's insane.
It really is, man. It's like, I don't know. It just, it hurts my head. I don't even understand it. I'm like, are we really just like, you know what?
Yeah, it's fine. Go on. Like, it's, like, I mean, I went to, like, University of South Carolina for 2 years where, like, those fucking kids in the first one went. Like, and when I saw University of South Carolina, when I first watched that movie, I was literally in my dorm room in the University of South Carolina. I was like, oh, fuck, no. Really? I was like, Jesus, really? God damn it. In-state tuition was not worth this.
You talking about when they got on the damn, Winnebago or
on the
whatever?
Bus, yeah.
Drinking? Yeah.
I was like,
they put on the Pamela video. And he's like, bro.
Yeah. Like, he has the fucking Cox hat on, too, and everything. And I was just like, I fucking go here. God damn it. Luckily, I transferred like a year later, but I was like, Jesus, no.
Awesome, dude. That is awesome. That is such a great thing to know that you watched that while you were sitting there.
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, it's crazy. It's crazy. But, yeah. So I think that's the end of, like, non-spoiler talk. So, like we said, I recommend it. I give it, like, a 4 out of 5. You said you give it, like, I guess, like, about a 3 out of 5, something like that.
3.5 out of 5 is what I think.
3.5 out of 5. Okay, that's fair. So, yeah, definitely go watch it. But, yeah, so if you don't want it to be spoiled, we're going to be spoiling it in 3, 2, 1. Okay. So, Borat 2, bunch of shit. So I guess we can go ahead and, like, just lay out, I guess, what the plot of this movie is.
Okay.
I think the opening, like I said before, with the stuff is, like, it's kind of brilliant. I think it sets the stage perfectly. Like, I love how it opens on Borat in, like, a prison camp, just, like, hitting rocks, just, like, immediately just like, yeah, guys, I've been shamed. Like, I literally have just been in this prison camp for, like, over a decade. I haven't been let out. That's why I haven't been anywhere. Like, movie was a big success, but embarrassed all of us, so my country hates me now.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's being called in to like deliver a present to Mike Pence so that their country can be respected again by the big dictators like Donald Trump and everybody like that. Which first joke that like got me rolling was like, I had learned that like America had been taken over by this dictator who like went against all our old ideals and like all this shit. It was like Barack Obama, and I was just like, God damn it, he's already got me. Fucking, it already like hits the ground running with like the Jew stuff and everything like that. Like that was, I hate to admit how hard when I first saw Borat, the running of the Jews like made me laugh my ass off. Like it's just crazy like how upfront it is. Like, guys, we're going in. Like this is gonna be rough. And like this movie does the same thing with like Holocaust Remembrance Day, which fucking got me. Oh my God. It was just like immediately just like, okay, we're back. Like, okay, Borat, third world country, this horrible racist misogynistic person we're going to be following for like an hour and a half who's just like out of his depth, doesn't know. Like it's immediately you're back into that world, which I think is super important. Like with a movie we've like had around for so long, everyone knows Borat, everyone knows like the voice, everything like that, to like get us back into like the comedy of Borat and to immediately be like, no guys, it's still us. We're not like changing it to like be a little more politically correct or anything like that, which is fine. I get it. But like also to just like be like, no guys, we're going in just as hard as the first one. Like no punches pulled. We're in.
Yeah, I mean,
love that.
He jumps in with Premier McDonald Trump. I love that he calls him McDonald Trump, though.
McDonald Trump.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah. And the fucking couch gag where it's like his old boss was turned into a couch and his dick is still there. Like, that shit, it's just like, we're back. We're back. Like, we're in.
You know, I was abruptly reminded about how many dick jokes they do in the second one, because they really just went right back to it.
Oh yeah, he's never gonna stop going to that well. Are you kidding me? How could you stop?
That is his go-to bit. That's honestly why, on a side note, that's why I didn't like Bruno, because there was just so many dick bits. I was like, all right, man, I'm over this.
That's right.
It was a lot.
That's fair. I mean, I haven't seen I think I saw Bruno once. I saw it a long time ago. I still remember like liking it, but like I think that's probably why I haven't gone back as much as it's like also it's like maybe we're going like a little too far in one direction, guys.
Yeah, it's a tough watch, man. Like it's funny, but it's a tough watch. I'm just like, it's a tough watch.
Because I mean, both the Borats are like kind of tough to watch too, but like I feel like they also have a good mix of like I'm being entertained, but I'm also kind of being yelled at a little bit, but I'm also like laughing a lot, but I'm also like seeing the like dark side of my country and like the dark side of people, and like it's a whole thing.
For sure.
But like, yeah, Bruno doesn't necessarily get the balance, but I still think it's like pretty good. But like the scheme is they're gonna give the I don't know exactly like the media director or like basically like the country's Joseph Goebbels, like who is a monkey, to Mike Pence as a gift to like curry favor with America. It's just immediately so ridiculous and out there.
A monkey?
A monkey. It's a monkey. And they're going to like give it to Mike Pence so that like Donald Trump will respect Kazakhstan as a nation and like give them props. Yeah. I mean, the premier's like whole thing is like, listen, Donald Trump is like, he shouted out Putin, Kim Jong-un, like fucking Bolsonaro, everybody. Where's my praise? I'm just as bad as these guys. Like, what the hell? What's going on here?
What about going back to the like real beginning, just right at the start of it? How ridiculous, dude, when he's talking about that story and he's got that cartoon of Melania and Donald and then dancing, and then he says, so he grabs her by the vagine and they just start dancing. Dude, it is so, you're literally sitting, I'm like, this is out of control. I was like,
dude, I don't know how many animators they got to do it. I would love to know the animation team responsible for that like little clip, because that's our introduction to Tutar. I love that her whole character is based around this video is that she wants to be the next Melania Trump. She wants to be like taken away by a rich prince and just like locked in a cage and just like it's crazy. Just like in the video, they like get the old Disney animation style right and everything.
Yeah,
it's like it's so detailed. Like, how the hell did they convince me? Like, pay them to do like. I love it. Like, that's the stuff I'm still just like, I can't not love this shit. Like,
I wish I was on that team that created that. I'd put that in my IG credits. I'd be like, hey, you know what I did? Tell your friends I'm that guy.
And the fucking dance too, it's just him fucking like holding her up and twirl.
It's wild. It is out of control.
Wild. It's insane. We set up that like his family hates him, the town hates him, like everyone boos him out of the town when he's leaving. Tutar wants to go to America with him because she wants to like be the next Melania and all that, and she wants to like get her bridal cage. They fucking set up that like all the brides get cages. It's another thing.
Yeah, the one was bragging because she was in the cage. She was like, yeah, you suck, you're out there. It was, yeah.
Which comes into play later when they do the whole, like, they get a guy later who's, like, saying, like, they locked all the Mexicans in cages and they did, like, high fives and shit like that. It's just,
the cage bit is out of control. But he's like, how many women could fit in this cage? She was like, yeah.
Dude, the walk they take. That's in the beginning of the movie. They don't really, like, bring in the climax of that joke till, like, 25 minutes. The dedication. That's the whole reason I feel like they do the cages. Is just do that one bit later on. Maybe. I don't know, but, like, that's great.
What walk? You talking about, like, when they're doing, like, a dance and everything? And like they're
No, just, like, the, like, gall to be like, okay, we're going to set something up at minute 5. We're going to travel across the country and do an unscripted bit with somebody, and he's going to play into the joke that we set up at, like, minute 3. Like, and just, like, and that's still, like, a thing throughout the whole movie is, like, they keep on bringing up the cages. Like, I'm going to have the nicest cage in America, right, Daddy? It's just as good as Melania's. Like,
they play with the cage bit throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, it's great. Then we take the trip to America. We do the whole thing where Borat can't be Borat anymore because everyone recognizes him. And you know, it's like I said, I think it's so smart the way they pull that off, everything like that. We learn that the monkey is dead because Tutar snuck away in the crate with the monkey.
Mm-hmm.
And now, so Borat's got to figure out a way to like save his skin essentially, because he's like going to be executed if he doesn't pull this off and get America's respect. And so when the monkey's dead, he's like, what if I give my daughter to Mike Pence? And the leader of Kazakhstan is like, yes, that's a go. Let's do it. And that's the plot of the movie. It's just like, we're trying to get sell his daughter. Crazy move for a movie in 2020, I would say.
Yeah.
Bold move.
People are going to be upset.
See, that's like, but like also I feel like everyone knows Borat at this point to where they're not, because they know it's all like essentially.
I would say yes and no. I'm the type of person who I'm like, if they want to get upset, get upset. Like, it's a movie. It's you know, it's not, you know, it's clearly a joke. Like, yeah. But I don't know. Because on his Instagram when he was putting like what's it called? Not spoilers, but like little
clips, that kind of thing.
Yeah, just little clips and trailer. That's the word I'm looking for, like the trailer. I went to the comments because I wanted to see. I was like, and this is before I even knew about the cage bit. And dude, the comments were going crazy. Some people were very upset. Yeah. It could have been bots. I don't know. And plus, like I said, I'm the kind of person who I'm like, dude, if they want to get upset, get upset. Like, if you really think that, like, their stance is they think women should be locked in cages, you're getting a little too technical.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Because, I mean, the whole movie is about them, like, nah, maybe we shouldn't put women in cages. Like, that's the big revelation. Maybe we shouldn't sell them.
Like that's like a coming of age thought. They're like, wow, that's some forward.
That's like a big, like, this is the next step in our evolution as a country. It's like, maybe women shouldn't be in cages and we shouldn't be selling them to foreign governments. Like, I don't know. Like,
Crazy.
I don't know. What's that thing too? It's just like, I think obviously this movie is going to make people angry. I think it's kind of designed to in a certain way.
Absolutely.
Like it's an incendiary, like controversial movie.
Yes.
Like already. I mean, obviously there's been a lot of talk after the Giuliani stuff went live, and now everyone knows what's going on with all of that, which we're going to get to later, and I'm very excited to. Like it's already people just like, how dare you say this about Rudolph Giuliani, America's mayor? Like, I love when they're in the hotel room, he immediately goes to like, you're America's mayor. Like, he shouts it out and everything. Like, it's great. I love that. So, like, you know, and it's, we'll get to all that later, but I just wanted to, like, bring it up for a second. But, and then we get into basically, like, all the bits, which, once again, we talked about it a little before. Like, it's just, it's still insane how well he is able to get shit out of people. Now, I don't know how they film these. I don't know if they have a camera in the room, or I don't know if there's just like another guy in the room that has like a camera attached to him somewhere.
Right, I was wondering that too.
But like also, there have got to be scenes where there are cameras in the room, because like, you know, it's, or because like talking about the clinic scene, like the doctor's office. Like what? We're just gonna let some guy in who's just gonna stand in the corner? Like, no, that man has a camera. Like, it's and the stuff they get that guy to say is like insane. Like the whole setup of that joke is great. I mean, even the setup before where they're like, they got to go to the cake shop, and he gets a cake that says "Jews will not replace us," with a bunch of smiley faces all over it. And this lady does it right in front of him. Right in front of him. Like, no objection. Okay. No objection. Nothing. Just like, you got it. In blue frosting on a chocolate cake, she does this shit. And little smiley faces. It's crazy.
Absolutely ridiculous. That is one of my favorite bits, to be honest.
Absolutely it is. Like, it's just like, how? There are cameras right here, lady. Like, what are you doing?
That's, you know, because like I wonder about that. And I mean, it's because it seems so candid and real. I don't think that like it's all acted out at all. But I'm sitting there like, who the fuck would do this on camera?
Well, it's just like, it kind of has to be, because I don't know anyone who, like, now obviously you're around more actors than I do. You know actors more than I do. How many actors would sign up for these gigs? Like, to be like on screen, like, I'm going to write on a cake, Jews will not replace us on blue frosting, and like, it's going to look real, and I'm going to be like kind of held responsible for it for a while.
I'd say that there's not as many. There's not a whole bunch, but I also do know that like actors can be pretty desperate sometimes. And if they can get a role and it's a Sacha Baron Cohen and it's on Borat, they don't really give a fuck. If it's getting them paid, it gets them a role like that. I probably know several people who would take that role.
Okay, fair. But like, I still subscribe that like these are real people, like in their element.
I do too.
Like,
I think so too.
Especially like when they're going around to like, they go around to like all these stores that different people own. I love the whole thing at the beginning where he goes into the costume shop and it's like stupid foreign reporter. It's like, that kind of looks like you over there. Like immediately. Like, I love how
it doesn't look like me at all. He gets like upset and offended. He's like, oh, what are you talking about?
I love how like they're able to laugh at themselves too. Like, I think it's great how it just covers all bases. Because I was also going to bring up when they got to go buy a dress for the daughter, and she's just like amazed by the fact that this woman owns the store. Which I love having Tutar there because they have all these little asides. I think they are speaking, I forget exactly what's language. I think somebody said they're speaking Jewish or Hebrew. I'm not sure because obviously Borat's country is very anti-Hebrew. So I don't know if that's what they're speaking, but like these little asides where they're just like, I love the whole, no, you should never do that. Whenever a woman owns a store, like their head just blows off and they just become inanimate. And then they just like pan over to the like little displays and shit like that. It's,
yeah, the little mannequins. He's like, you see, that was it. She died young. Dude, my favorite part of the store bit is when he goes, I'm looking for a dress that says no means yes, or what is it? Does it say
no means yes?
Yeah, no means yes. And she just laughs and grabs a dress.
She's like, okay, I know the section.
Yeah,
like,
I know what that is.
Well, it's just like it's with all the shit. Like the whole like extreme makeover session for Tutar is great because you start off with she goes to the sugar baby's like mansion or whatever, and basically she lays out like, here's how you're supposed to act. You're supposed to be weaker. You're supposed to like not act as smart. Find older men, and she's like, which like you should find a guy who's like gonna have a heart attack or has had a heart attack recently. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just like insane. First off,
yeah.
Which we keep saying it. It's the same with the first movie. It's just like insane the situations these guys get into, and what the people around them do. But like the whole extreme makeover scene is great because you go to the tanning salon. It's just like, what is the best color for racist families? I'd say like these two right here.
Yeah, she literally thinks about it for a second. She's like,
these two right here.
Somewhere in the middle.
Like she knows. She knows immediately. It's crazy.
Well, I love when he's like, I want her hair to look like this girl. She goes, that's Dog the Bounty Hunter. That's a guy.
This is male?
Yeah.
Oh man. When they go to and then after that they like go to the fair. They have the girl on the leash. Just like a 15-year-old. I think the actress is actually like 23.
Yeah, 24.
Well, okay, gotcha. But like just looks like it's all played so well. Like I think it's kind of incredible, and they're still able to pull this off. Like, especially like, I don't know how big of a fan you are, but I'm a big fan of Impractical Jokers. Like, I think that's just like some fun, just like lax. Like you're on a trip somewhere, like the hotel will always have Impractical Jokers on. That's always like the thing I watch when I'm at a hotel. But it's just like, it's a thing where it's like, how can you still pull it off after being so famous? Everyone knows the voice, everyone knows the thing. It's just, it's crazy. I want to talk a little bit because I think we glossed over it a little bit. The shipping store scene. The patience of that guy behind the counter.
Oh, doing the faxes back and forth?
The man should get a medal. Like, good Lord. Sending faxes back and forth.
That had to have taken a long time. Like,
oh, absolutely.
I can imagine how much they cut out of dead footage of them just sitting there.
Which, all props to the intern, who was like probably like in the hotel like down the street, who's just like sending those faxes. I love imagining like the production team had to be like, okay, they like getting the phone call, okay, they just sent the fax, like get it in there, like send the next one. Like it's great. Like just
the guy just reads them and he never like gives his opinion on what he's reading. He just reads the facts and just responds.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just the messenger, man. I'm just the messenger.
No, I agree. I love the just big old page of like angry faces. Oh my God. I forgot another one. Speaking of like store managers, when he goes in to buy a phone, like immediately one of the better bits of the movie.
Oh, Brian.
Yeah, Brian. But like, he has the shit on the TV. Like, obviously he does the joke like.
I just remembered what he did.
It's just like, it's that thing where there's like some great satire, some great comedy will just like do the dumbest, most ridiculous shit, but still like at the end of the day, still be very smart. Mm-hmm. And Borat has that energy. Sacha Baron Cohen has always had that energy. Like the movie contrasts all the like kind of darker shit that you see with just the most ridiculous, like, he goes to the bathroom to go look at porn, and the guy is just still looking at it, just like, okay. I'm just gonna look away from that right now. Doesn't go into the bathroom, like, what the fuck are you doing? Get out of my store. Nobody does this. Nobody. Ever.
Yeah, it's so wild. He's just like, can I borrow this? I need to use your toilet.
Yeah. So back to kind of where we were, like, we go to the clinic scene, which is one of my favorites in the movie. Where they act like Borat has impregnated his daughter at the abortion clinic when really she just like swallowed a plastic baby that was on a cupcake.
Right.
And he tells like whoever runs the clinic this, and obviously the guy's doing the whole like, no, like God meant for this to happen. Like, you should have the baby. No, we're not going to do an abortion. Like, yada, yada, so on and so forth. And then it's like, he does the whole, like, yeah, I just wanted to give her pleasure. I mean, look at this face. I wanted to give her the pleasure. It's like this whole thing where he's basically just telling, like, yes, I impregnated my daughter. And the guy is still just like, it doesn't matter how we got to this point. We just have to make this decision right now.
Yeah, exactly. He's just like, look, we're not going to talk about all that.
And it's just still just like, dude. Like, and knowing that that's the mindset of most of the people who, like, I mean, just like oppose abortion and everything like that, are pro-life and all that. Like, it's just like, and that's kind of where we start to get some of the darker shit. Just like, good Lord. Especially now we're talking about, and once again, it's like relevant because now Trump is talking about he wants to repeal Roe v. Wade with the new Supreme Court nomination and everything like that. Like, it's just like, these are the people who are going to be running the show. Right. Like, this is it. And it's scary. Which, that's the thing. It's like, I don't know. I feel like that's the best thing with like all good horror movies. They're also like kind of darkly comedic at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, and this shit has a lot of that.
One thing I got to touch on real quick, just real smart, just so well done, is like, because, you know, what he's saying about the pleasure and doing it behind the dumpster and all this stuff is so well set up by the bit before when he buys the cupcake, because, like, at the time you think, you know, oh, he's doing it because of the things he believes in within his country, but then it's so perfectly set up for when he's able to talk about it. You're like, Jesus, that sounds bad when you say it like that.
Yeah.
It's so genius.
Oh, yeah. Which we got to talk about. I love how this movie has its own lore with the book that they carry around the whole movie. That shit is hysterical.
The book is out of control.
The book is great. Like, she's asking him these questions like, Daddy, has like a woman ever been able to drive? No, look at the last time a woman drove, and it's just a picture of the Hindenburg just coming down.
Yeah, dude. Or, yeah.
It's all like, here are the instructions on how to sell and cage your daughter. Like, here's the kind of cage you need to buy for your daughter. Here's like shit like that.
Or the story about the vagina. I felt uncomfortable saying it. I had to like pause.
The vagine?
Yeah, there you go.
The vagine?
That's crazy. They'll suck you in.
Okay, so I got to ask you this question.
Yeah.
So, better picture book, that story in the book right there, or the scene in Midsommar with like the lady feeding her husband the pubes and then like all that shit. Like, which?
It's
you have to.
I'm going to be honest, because I'm going to say Midsommar.
Okay.
And the reason I'm going to say that is because the story is told backwards.
That's fair.
The fact that you go across it backwards, and it's like, and he says, a little love story. And he sets it up so creepy. And so I think I still got it. Midsommar knocks that one out of the park.
That's fair. You know what's also funny is just like, obviously, the Borat one is like creepier and like more disturbing. And just like, Jesus, this is rough. And then that first one is to say that like a horror movie has like the least disturbing like picture story is like kind of crazy. I don't know. I thought that was a little fun thing. Like and obviously this leads to the scene where like she like ends up at I forget, like some meeting of like women Republicans.
Yes. And
she like does this whole thing where she does like, everyone, I can touch my vagina and did not get sucked up into it. Like, this movie's nuts.
I love the old woman's reaction when she says all this crazy shit and she just goes,
we're so happy to have you.
Yeah, and just starts clapping. Yeah. You're just like, I just can see myself being in that situation, and I would probably respond to something like, well, I'm so happy you came. This is great.
What else are you gonna do?
Yeah, that's a fun story.
Yeah, for sure. So we also got we brushed past it a little bit, but like, so they actually do get to pants around. You said that like the 30-minute mark. This is when you first hear your like COVID-19 is like the first time it's really mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And just the setup is great. You get Sacha Baron Cohen walking into a hotel in a KKK outfit, like white sheet and all. Once again, no one tells him to leave.
Yeah,
everyone just like stares.
It's crazy. It was crazy. That I really couldn't believe he didn't get kicked out of that.
Yeah, just a nice hotel, and they're just like, huh, okay.
Steve Miller.
Yeah, I'm Steve Miller. Good Lord. Then he like dresses up in a Trump costume and runs his daughter there on his back and just starts screaming at Mike Pence during a speech that I guess took place in about like January, February.
Yeah. It was like, dude, it's so creepy. It's so creepy watching that. And he's like, we have 15 cases.
Yeah.
And like, it just how, you know,
it's tough.
That was so not that long ago. And I remember, dude, like, I truly remember because like, I have, 2-3 roommates. And I mean, dude, you could ask any of them. I'm not joking you. In January, I was like, dude, because I'd seen some videos online because I follow a few of these sites that are like, I follow some of these things that are like, they show you videos that won't be on the news. I always try to make sure they're real, but I saw that and there was just a couple of things. I was like, dude, this sounds kind of crazy. I was like, it's moving pretty quick. It's already here. Because I mean, it just moved so quick. And I just remember saying like, dude, this is coming. Watch out, watch out, watch out. And everybody, including my own roommates, they were like, nah, dude, this ain't. And then overnight, all of a sudden, it was here. And now we've been living with it since I can remember.
Yeah. March.
And we just hit all-time record highs today for the most cases we've ever had in one day.
Yeah.
So we're not trending in the right direction.
No. Thank God we live in California, though. We're trending down. Thank God.
That's the thing is like I understand like with the whole concept of like you can't keep these places shut down because economy, and I understand that. I do. Yeah. But like humanity over economy says that we have more people than most, and there's a lot of people that aren't getting sick here. I mean, like I said, we're trending down, and like 38 states are trending up. Yeah. There's not even like currently there's not even an epicenter. The whole country is just like, pretty much all got it. Here we go.
I mean, especially when you look at the beginning, like we were the epicenter. Like it was us in New York. Like we were the big epicenters of all of it. And now we're the guys who are actually like, we're finally getting down. Like we're finally like leveling off. Yeah. Like we're gonna be okay. And how everyone else is just like, nope, we're still going.
Well, yeah, dude, I went home a month ago, and I mean, literally some of the first things people said to me is they made jokes. They're like, they're like, oh, and they coughed and like act like nobody. My dad said that people look at him weird because he wears a mask. Yeah. Which is crazy to me because people look at you weird here if you don't wear a mask.
Yeah. I mean, I've been home twice, I think. I've gotten my whole I've been on 2 flights back to South Carolina. Dude, it's a different world out there, man. Yeah. It's crazy. Dude, people were in the grocery store not wearing masks, and I was like, what the hell is happening?
Yeah, I took a trip to South Carolina. I know the folks that are over there.
Yeah, that's where my family. It's unfortunate, but that's where my family is. That's just what's got to happen.
Bro, I'm from Missouri. The same folks are over there.
Yeah, it's just it's insane. You still have some maniacs here, but it's also you go there and it's just completely different makeup, and they're just
What's crazy, the difference is like I said, people here that are maniacs, people look at them and they're like, those people are maniacs. People in these other parts of the country, that's how everybody thinks. That's not you're a maniac. That's the consensus throughout. That's what's going on here.
Yeah. Which
what? It's just an accepted reality. You're like, what the heck is?
Which I mean, to get back into Borat, that's what's happening in this movie. It's just obviously everyone wants these people are insane, but these are groups of people, crowds of people, going to see Mike Pence speak at some conference for somebody. I don't know. But then you get the rally kind of towards the end where it's just there's just a bunch of people just hanging out, which is in July at a little just I don't know, whatever kind of they're big, we're not going to wear a mask rally or we're American.
Anti-mask rally, anti-science rally. They all had guns.
Yeah.
Dude, what was crazy to me is when he started doing his getting the crowd involved with that song. and talking about like what's it gonna be and things people were saying, and like I almost couldn't even laugh at that because I was like,
it's dark.
I was like, if you like, I love history. If you really go back, I don't want want us to be Germany in 1929, 1930, because right now, like if you like take the bias out, we live here. There's some bad signs, dude. You're like, what the fuck, dude? What is this? I know several people, including myself, who like, it's fairly unfortunate, but like, dude, we might be on the brink of like a race war, like shit. Like, I hope it doesn't get to that. I really hope it all settles down. I'm optimistic, but it scares me whatever way this goes.
They did the Sieg Heil. Like, it's crazy. Like, he got them to do the actual fucking thing, and I'm just like, how far gone are we?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like it literally, like we've got to make sure that we don't become the monster that we, if this whole "Make America Great Again." What made America great was, we were supposed to be like the protectors. We were supposed to be like the good guys. That was kind of like our thing. And we certainly don't look like that right now.
Which, I mean, that's why the ending of the movie is kind of fucking perfect, because they take the running of the Jews from the first movie and they make it the running of the Americans.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
literally.
It's literally them. We're the monsters. We're the bad guys. We're the morons.
The Karens fighting the doctors.
Yeah, we're the ones getting played. Like,
he says,
plain and simple.
He says they have successfully killed the science.
Yeah, they fucking have a thing where they just shoot Anthony Fauci out in the middle of the street. It's insane. They have a fucking big old Karen mascot holding guns and like, it's crazy.
Dude, you gotta laugh or otherwise you're gonna lose your mind.
Exactly. It's like
this is where we live.
It's nuts. It's like, people talk about how when Trump was doing it, was like we're the laughing stock of the country, when now we really are. We really are. And like, this movie makes it more apparent than ever. Like, I think it makes it just absolutely clear what's going on. And it's like, either we're going to keep doing this or we're going to get out of it.
Yeah.
Like, and it's just like I was saying, like, how far gone are we? Can we even get out of this? I don't know. I mean, obviously we got an election in under 2 weeks.
I don't think people can stress enough how important this one might be.
Yeah.
Because 4 more years, dude. I'm moving to Italy.
Yeah. I was watching a thing with John Oliver. He did this last week where Trump is like trying to pull out of the World Health Organization, and during a pandemic.
Well, yeah, like they did that months ago. They haven't pulled out, but he pulled funding already.
No, I know, but like that's what I'm saying. It's like, but like it's not effective till next year.
Oh, okay.
But like, like I was basically saying, it's like driving away in the fire trucks where there's still a fire. Like,
well, not to be right on the nose of that, but he literally denied help to the firefighters in California when there was 500 fires going. He's like, no, you got it. And they just didn't have it.
I mean, we're a blue state. He doesn't have any votes coming from here. He doesn't give a shit. It's fine.
Isn't that crazy? That's what's crazy to me in general. Like how talk about how so far gone we are. It's crazy.
Democrats are worse than the virus.
Yeah, dude, it's so crazy.
They fucking say that in this movie. It's
literally
crazy.
Everybody thinks in politics these days, and I'm just like, what do we like? If you want to touch on the debate a little bit last night, that was one of the things that Biden said. He's like, look, you talk about red state, blue state. He said, we're fucking people. We didn't use the F word, but like, we're humans. We're Americans. Like, why can't we look at each other like that and try to figure it out? We can't divide within ourselves and try to be united. It doesn't make sense.
And it's this super telling thing. I was surprised it happened. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised by what Trump does anymore, but like, Biden did this thing where it's like, this is not about his family. This is not about my family. This is about your family. And then Trump, like 2 seconds later, is like, it's not about your family, my family or your family. It's about your family. It's just like, really, dude? It's crazy.
I want to say something about that because it's really funny that you brought up that thing because that is crazy that like he said that. But I can't believe I'm saying this, but I honestly thought one of the things that Donald Trump said about it was kind of spot on. It's wrong, but he was like, that's such a politician answer. And it was. It totally was, dude.
But also, here's the thing. He's trying to act like he's not a politician when he's the incumbent president.
No, I understand.
He's a politician.
I understand that.
He can't be ragging on people. Like, you're trying to tell me that he's not making, like, 5,000 political statements like it, the same thing. Like, it's just that thing where it's like he's literally coming out and saying the "I don't give a shit about you" thing out loud.
No, fact. And I understand that there's a wrong to that, but I just, some part of me had to appreciate him calling out the bullshit, because it's bullshit he does too, absolutely. But it was just, I was like, he didn't have to say it for that statement, but when he said it, I was like, damn, that was a super political.
But I mean,
statement.
It's also the pot calling the kettle black.
No, 100%, 100%.
Because he did the whole, like, we're going to drain the swamp, when in reality he's actually the swamp. Like, we're more corrupt than we've ever been.
1,000%. But like, even if he would have said that to himself, I'd have been like, that was a pretty impressive. I'm a person who gets impressed when the bullshit gets called out right on the spot. Mm-hmm. He's obviously never taken his credit for his bullshit. But for just, because I remember sitting there thinking, I was like, that was a pretty, like, I'm not saying that Joe Biden doesn't care about us, but this goes to the whole thing of, like, you go back 20, 30 years at the people, and it's like politics always have special interests. Every single one of them.
Yeah, sure.
I certainly believe Joe Biden has our interest better than Donald Trump, but does Joe Biden have his own interest like every single person on this planet? Absolutely.
Sure.
And so I just had to, like, some part of me just had to appreciate that was said out loud.
That's fair. But at least you also have to say, like, but also Donald Trump is full of bullshit. So it's an attack.
Oh yeah.
It's just like bullshit. Oh my God, I can get him on this. Like he is with any school bully. He can just be like, oh, but like this, and he's just gonna try to, like, drag it into it.
For sure. And because the thing is there's gonna be people who ate that up and were like, see, that's why we're voting for him, because he's so honest. He's not honest at all, but that thing was fun.
Well, it's just like, it's crazy they use the whole, like, but because he's not a politician. He's the president. He's the president, guys. He is a politician. Like, what are you talking? He's running for election right now. What are we talking about?
Let's talk about Rudy Giuliani.
See, I want to talk about the cabin first.
Okay.
I want to talk about the cabin first. Okay. So we get to the point in the movie where Tutar has realized that Borat and her country has been lying to her for, like, since she's been born, that women can do a lot more than they've told her that they can do. They can touch their vagine. They can drive cars. Like, it's still crazy how, like, they can own shops, like, they can own their own businesses, and she's, like, amazed by all of it, and she decides to essentially leave Borat out in the dust for a little while.
Right.
And this is when the movie takes the turn, and, like, the coronavirus has happened and has started. And I love how it's set up. I love how Borat's just, like, walking out of the street, no one's around. It's just like, excuse me, sir, where is everybody? Just like, they're telling everyone to quarantine. There's a virus. It's just like, oh, well, I have nowhere else to go. Can I stay with you? Like, and the fact this man says yes. Now, I do not know how this happened. I do not know how, like, what the details were. I don't know how they allowed this, how they got all the cameras in there. Because, like, the assumption is Borat was living in that house for a couple of months.
Mm-hmm.
A couple of months.
Right.
What the? Where is my, like, 2-hour documentary just about that?
Yeah, I could use all that footage.
I want all of it. But I'm just like, how did that? What's going through Sacha Baron Cohen's mind the whole time?
Right.
That's what I want to know. Like, I need to hear, like, the commentary if they ever release one. Just like, what's going through his mind? What is he thinking? How is he keeping up? How is he staying in character for all of this time?
Right.
Like, it's like we talked about, like, Mad Max Fury Road a little bit. Like, how did they do that? How the hell did they, like, how did they do it? Like, I'm honestly, like, kind of impressed, like, how insanely, like, just how they were able to do it. Like, I know it's, like, obviously, like, they set up cameras, he played Borat and all that, but, like, I don't know, there's something really kind of incredible about that, to me, at least. I found that kind of amazing.
Yeah. What I found amazing is he was able to get the guy to spray the wall with him and use the pan to kill the virus.
The pan is hysterical. I mean, a lot of the stuff they do in the cabin is great.
Dude, my favorite part.
Is that the virus? But he's got, like, a little spyglass in the pan. Like, I love that shit.
Dude, my favorite is because I think I know we've had this conversation before, just about how, like, you know, when this thing started, everybody became a scientist. I didn't know how many we had. And he said, luckily, I was quarantined with 2 of America's greatest scientists.
I love that shit.
So I was like, there it is. Finally, that bit got used.
They do the whole like the Clintons created the virus and released it. That old chestnut.
They were talking. What's crazy is like, and obviously he does this on purpose to get them to say some of the things out loud about like the adrenaline with the kids and living forever, then to be like, it's so, again, this goes to that whole like backwards bizarre world that these people live in, that it's like status quo. We're like, how can you possibly say something like that out loud and think, yeah, I mean that? And these are grown adults. These are grown men. It's crazy.
It's
Where's the logic out of like, at least let me look this up or find a way to educate myself on a topic like this and not just take things like certainly ridiculous things like that for face value and be like, well, that's what I heard. What the well, okay, everybody. Like, what? It's ridiculous, dude. Ridiculous.
They're spouting all these conspiracy theories the whole time. Like, it's just insane. Like, once again, it's just like, it's not just these guys believe this and they're these like guys just out in the woods. A lot of people believe this. Like, a lot.
Enough of those kind of people that Donald Trump won. Because you know what? Donald Trump's at least smart. He knew that he could take advantage of people like that. He's like, if I just go for it, these people, I don't know his whole strategy, but he got these, for lack of a better word, he got the dumbasses to believe him. And they're running with it. And they worship him now, dude. It's wild. He has really taken a culture. It's just crazy, like I said, how big that culture is. It's way more far-reaching than you'd realize.
What's also crazy that, like, and I know many people pointed this out before, that, like, he duped them into believing that he's this, like, man of the people when he lives in a golden tower.
Yeah, dude. He goes to Mar-a-Lago or whatever down in Florida, which is, like, the richest neighborhood in the country. And he goes there all the time. That's where he's lived since he was a kid. Not a kid, but, like, he's been there. He knows nothing but wealth. Yeah.
He lives in this big old skyscraper that's, like, covered in gold. Like, and he's just like, yeah, I'm a man of the people. This is what I do. Like, it's
literally never been a man of the people.
No.
Never.
So the thing I was talking about earlier, what was kind of incredible about what Tutar does in the third act, she becomes a journalist for like a right-wing like news network. I forget. I don't know exactly like whether she joined up with one or if they created their own one for the movie, but like she gets a lot of interviews. Dude, I don't know if you saw this. There were clips going on that she got into like the White House press room.
I don't doubt it, dude.
She got into the White
Giuliani, I don't doubt it.
No, but I'm just saying, like, they created this whole personality, like this news personality that was going around interviewing people. That was at this event they have in the third act that got into the White House press room. Like, it's just, I don't know how they do it. I really don't.
It kind of reminds me of, if you've ever seen How I Met Your Mother, Barney Stinson does this bit where, you know, because he always has these sick, crazy ideas on how he picks up girls. And one of them is he starts this, he's like, you got to be this fake character. He's like, you got to go make up 15 different websites so the first 2 pages of Google's think you're rich. It's this whole laid out bit and it's hilarious. And, like, it works. And it's just funny that, like, in a real life scenario, like, a bit like this is able to go as far as to, like I said, get you in the White House. And, like, that really is kind of
with all the other journalists and everything. Like, it's
somehow
crazy.
Tutar got there. You're like, how in the world did you make this work? How did we allow this? How did we get here, people?
No test, no nothing. She just like walked in. Like,
I can tell our national security is top notch.
I mean, for sure. Absolutely. We all know this. But then we get to like this rally they go to, where, like, I don't know. I'm not going to try to sing the song he sings. I'm not going to try to because it's too much. Like, I'm not even going to try. But, like, Sacha Baron Cohen sings the song, and the whole crowd goes nuts. They're in on it. They're going crazy. What, his name's Country Jim? Or, like, whatever?
Country Steve.
Country Steve.
Country Steve.
Country Steve leads this whole group of people in this super hateful, crazy song that's just, like, I think that's probably the darkest moment of the movie, at least for me.
Yeah, that's that moment, like I said, when it was hard to watch because I was like, holy shit, this is our country saying this shit. Like, there's no way this is right now. It's funny, but it's not because, like, this is real.
Yeah. For sure. It's tough. It's like, yeah. I just for a movie you're having so much fun with for so long, and we didn't even bring up a lot of stuff. Like we didn't bring up the babysitter at all, which is a great little section.
There's just so many bits. Yeah. Like I don't think if we touch on every one, it's gonna sound like it just
like, it's insane they did this. Like yeah, all of that. Exactly. The plastic surgeon is great.
Yes.
All of that.
I love how he offers potatoes, and it was almost predictable, but I think it was hilarious when she had to count that money. I was like, I guarantee it's gonna be like 50 short. I was like, it's too Sacha Baron Cohen for that to be the right amount of money.
Oh, dude.
And it was 70.
One of my favorite little bits in the movie is he has to go be a hairdresser to get the rest of the money. Mm-hmm. Every time he cuts a piece of hair, that's fine. That's fine.
Dude, if I was ever getting a haircut, somebody was doing that, I'd be like, this is fucked. I'm like, this is not going to be good.
Oh, my God. So, yeah, the reason they go to this is because Tutar's become this news personality. She's going to go cover the rally. Mm-hmm. And he shows up with his two new best friends from the cabin to, like, find his daughter. They inform the daughter that if they don't deliver her to Rudy Giuliani, which we have not touched on this. So there are 3 different plots. The movie has 3 different opening title cards, which made me laugh every single time. Mm-hmm. With each new plan, it's like deliver monkey to Mike Pence to restore reputation of Kazakhstan, and then like
diminished. Very key word they used in all 3.
That's true.
I'm gonna assume that was like a joke of him talking about how like Kazakhstan's ruined because of this movie. So he's like the diminished, like because of this movie, this country is just useless.
Yeah. But like that shit made me like, I don't know. A lot of movies he used that before, but that shit like got me every single time. Like, here's the new plan. Here's the new title. Like, it's literally like outlining like, here's Act 1, here's Act 2, here's Act 3. Like, I love all of that shit. Yeah. So Tutar agrees to meet with Rudy Giuliani to try and sell herself to Rudy Giuliani so that her father can live. And then we get, I don't know, man. How do you even describe it? How do you describe what happens in this 10-minute little stretch?
Dude, your face. You said, you really can't even. It's hard. This one you gotta just go see.
You can't describe what it is. You just got to see it to believe it. Like, honestly, it's definitely like embarrassing that this man works for the president and was like a big support. Like, this man was on the front lines of the like committee to elect Trump and like is still like a huge spokesperson for him. And to think like, man, so I love Moneyball, right? It's one of my favorite movies. And I have a point with this. We are getting somewhere with the Rudy Giuliani stuff, I promise. Okay. But like, so Rudy Giuliani has the reputation of like he was the mayor of New York during 9/11 and everything like that.
Okay.
He was like known as America's mayor because he was like the mayor of New York during that period of time and helped get them back into it.
Okay.
So like to see this man with this reputation like brought down to this level is insane. Obviously it's been happening a long time with like him getting on the Trump train and all that kind of stuff, but it's crazy to see what happens with all this. And like, and it's unfortunate that Rudy Giuliani is in Moneyball. Like he's in the opening because they have like footage of like the 2001, I think it's like ALDS, and it's the Yankees playing the Athletics. So like Rudy Giuliani is like a couple snippets, and every time I just got to be like, God damn, that's one of my favorite movies. Every time I watch that movie now, I'm gonna have to see his face and think of him laying on this bed in this movie and like just like jerking it for a couple of seconds.
He was fixing his mic, dude.
Oh yeah, sure. His mic was like down in his pants. Sure.
He's already said it.
He's got to lay down on his bed to fix his mic. Okay, sure, absolutely.
Come on, dude.
A public official like this, he knows the real way to take off your mic. You don't just like do it like this. You got to like lay down on a bed and reach down there to get it.
Yeah, you go to the bedroom with a drink to remove the mic.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely, that's how you do it.
Usually when a girl asks me to go to her bedroom, I'm like, yeah, this is the appropriate place to just take the mic off.
Yeah, and especially
because she was supposed to be 15.
Supposedly, yes. Like it's just, so yeah. I mean, the whole setup is she's going up there to interview Rudy Giuliani, and like, God, I mean, we were talking about it last week. that scene at the pharmacy with the guy doing like the whole "you look like Lois Lane." That's what the whole scene, like that's the energy this whole scene and sequence had. It's just like
It's real.
this is yuck, like disgusting, like super cringy and just like, like not good, not very bad.
And dude,
Don't do it.
I think what's so crazy, especially after like the Jeffrey Epstein revelation, and, Ghislaine Maxwell's like deposition or whatever it's called, deposition I think it might be called, whatever.
Yeah.
Information came out a few days ago, and it doesn't look good. Like it really just shows that like.
Yeah.
People up in that echelon. There's some weird stuff going on, man.
I mean, Epstein's in this movie too. Like they got clips of him. Like his son changed his name to Jeffrey Epstein. Like it's.
That's kind of funny. All right, look, that's funny. Hilarious. When he said he changed his name to Jeffrey Epstein,
it's a little funny. Like
hilarious.
It's not. It doesn't make you feel great, but like it makes you okay. All right, we're back in Borat world. Like
you got to appreciate the bit because it's one of those bold things. You're like, Jesus, he really said that. All right.
Because I mean, there's one. My favorite one that they do at the end is like so Kazakhstan has decided like, not only are we going to send girls away to foreign like countries and everything, now we're going to send boys, and it's like this huge crate of little boys addressed to Kevin Spacey in Hollywood, California. I was like, oh no. Oh my God.
You're now sending away a groomsman or whatever.
It's just like, oh God.
That was tough. It was hilarious.
It was tough. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to talk about the Giuliani's. I think it's honestly, like I said, if you want to watch it. Like, I think that's kind of like, I don't think me talking about it is going to give you any like perspective. I think it's just like, you got to kind of see it for yourself to believe it.
You got to feel it.
Like, I can't describe the feeling I had watching that scene, which is just like, yeah. But, yikes. I think that's, I don't know. Is there anything else you want to add? I think I'm good to move on from the Giuliani scene. Like, I think it's just
the funniest part is when Borat runs in and says, "Stop, she's 15. She's too old for you."
Yeah. Stop touching your crown. Like, it's just like.
Yeah, he goes, oh.
See, and here's a good point I saw about the whole, like, oh, he was fixing his mic. The way when he hears another voice, he shoots up. He is out of that room in like 5 seconds.
I know what
he knows he's doing something wrong. Like, get out of here.
Like, you don't sit up like that if you're like, oh, I was. Yeah. No, I'm about to get caught.
Yeah, he knows. I mean, the best part is when he's like, Trump is going to be so disappointed you left without a golden shower. Like, that's like, just like his last little dig. Like, I don't know. Then like kind of just like, oh, no, we got one more thing to talk about. We got to talk about the plot twist. That Kazakhstan started the coronavirus.
Okay, yeah, I was going to bring that up. That's my favorite part is that Borat, not only Kazakhstan,
they sent Borat out to spread the coronavirus.
Which again is a great setup from the beginning where he has to take that ferry boat, not a ferry boat.
Cruise liner?
Something like that. Oh, was it a cruise liner?
No, it's not a cruise. That's the joke they make, the luxury cruise liner, when it's just literally tetanus on the sea.
Yeah, it was like a cargo ship. And and he does all that. He hits those 24, 25 different places. And then, at the end, they showed again. And, he was the Kazakhstan. He was case 1. They gave it to him. They sent him all over. When they're putting the bat on, like, the jar and trying to get it to, like, get the virus out. That's my favorite. It was like,
I mean, the best part of that is the Tom Hanks cameo. The Tom Hanks cameo is genius. That's, I mean,
knew you'd appreciate the Tom Hanks one.
Of course. Well, here's the thing. When Tom Hanks endorses your movie by being in it, you've made it. Like, you've made it. Like, that's the deal. And I feel like, I mean, we talked about this in the Lost Captain Phillips episode that will never be seen. But like,
dude, I'm about to go on record right now and say that this man right here, this one right here, guys, Brendan Murphy, said that if there was an award for being just like the most American like person, like hero,
like America's Dad,
it would go to Tom Hanks. And a month or 2 later, they gave him an award for that. He's got the award, guys. The award is now officially there.
Yeah, he's Tom Hanks. Everybody loves him. Who doesn't love Tom Hanks? Like, he's the best. And just like,
Dude, if that one wouldn't have got messed up because we weren't able to get the footage on here, and for whatever reasons it went down, dude, we'd be Nostradamus right now. They'd be like,
a little bit.
Wow, these guys actually know what they're plugged in.
I mean, listen, we should be giving Tom Hanks an award every year. Like, I don't know why we're not doing that already. Right. It's like, and the annual the Nobel Prize for being Tom Hanks goes to Tom Hanks, everybody. Here you go. Congratulations, Tom Hanks. You once again are a pillar to look towards, a ideal to strive toward.
No one's upset. They're like,
yeah.
I mean, he deserved it.
It's Tom Hanks, guys. Yeah, like we're all in support.
Like nobody's surprised.
Yeah. Dude, that shit's just obviously, once again, we're in a time where people are not meeting up and doing shit together. But like, just once again, the determination, like, to go out to Tom Hanks and like call and be like, hey. So it's me, Sacha Baron Cohen. How you doing?
Yeah,
I would like Corona. So here's the deal. So I'm making a Borat 2. I've been keeping it kind of under wraps and everything like that. Here's the thing. So I got a bit in the movie where I'm patient zero, and I'm the one who spread the coronavirus. Will you like be in it? So there's a scene where I'm the one who gave you the coronavirus.
Because everyone remembers he was like the first big celebrity who got it. And everyone's like, oh shit, Tom Hanks got it?
Yeah. And then like Tom Hanks being like, yes, absolutely. Let's do it. Like he's all in. Like it's, I don't know. It's just like, so obviously we've been talking about how silly and ridiculous and crazy it is, but like when Tom Hanks is in a movie, he legitimizes the whole thing, even if he's going to be in it for like 5 seconds. Like, you know, it just like, once again, lends just like, it's the steal of approval. Like America's Dad approves of Borat 2 or Borat Subsequent Moviefilm, which is a great title. We didn't talk about that at all. But yeah, man, I mean, it's great. And I mean, we talked about the whole, like, so Tutar ends up being a reporter with Borat at the end. They like reunite. Borat, like her daughter, Borat and his daughter, they go back to Kazakhstan. He doesn't sell her to Giuliani, thank God. So they go home. They find out the premier is the one who like created the coronavirus, gave it to Borat so he could spread it around the whole world. And it's just like, okay, what is it going to take for you guys to like never talk about this to anybody? And they just like, they get their jobs back. Like Borat's loved by the whole world and everything like that. Fucking, what is it? The case rate is like 98% or some shit like that.
Oh, no, he talked about the deaths in his country have like trended down to 92%.
Yeah.
Which is fucked.
It's fucked. But once again, we'll like come around to that last scene, which just like really puts everything into perspective. It's like, we're laughing at you. Like, this is it. Like, this is the big old Donald Trump dummy that we're just like floating around. Like, everyone's like running from him. There's like we're all laughing at it. We're laughing at like American citizens, like the fucking Karens and shit like that, touting their guns and like all that bullshit. And the Dr. Fauci stuff. And it's just like, balls in your court, guys. I just showed you like what's going on here. What are you going to do about it? You just watched the debate like a couple hours ago. Elections in like less than 2 weeks. What you going to do? I mean, it ends with like, go vote, essentially. So yeah, I mean, putting it like the thesis of the movie, like pretty clear. It's just like as much as the first Borat, like we were saying, was a mirror of America at that time. Borat 2 is a mirror too, but it's also like a mirror who's like fucking yelling at you to get your shit together.
Yeah, it's a mirror. It's like, look, if you just keep standing by and watching, this is what is unfolding.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it is. It for sure is unfolding. It's really wild.
For sure. I don't know, any more closing thoughts? I mean, I feel like we've covered pretty much everything. Like we said, we covered like how we liked it. I was a big fan. You liked it, but you weren't as big a fan as me. But like, I think we've covered pretty much everything. Like, we got in depth with it. I'm pretty proud of what we did with Borat 2. I think we might have gone, I think we did a podcast longer than Borat 2 itself. Probably. I'm excited to see what the time code is.
I was going to say, yeah, I'm pretty sure, because, I mean, we started at like 7:15. It's like 8:50 right now. I was even about to say I might have to wrap it up soon, but like,
that's fair.
But yeah,
Very good.
We did it. This might be the longest podcast to date. We'll see.
I mean, except for, obviously, the lost episodes, which no one will ever see. The lost episodes were...
Dude, we even had bits, which once this ends, we're getting back to the bits.
We will, one day, when this all ends. Like, I mean, once again, like, we had to change up our podcast format because of the fucking virus and shit like that.
Literally.
So, you know, I mean, I agree with the end of the movie. Like, go vote. Try to end this shit as much as possible. Like, I want it to stop. I want to stop feeling like this about my country all the time. So, you know, go do that shit. But yeah, Matthew, you got anything else?
No, dude. Go watch Borat 2 and go see what's going on, people.
That's right. All right. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for sticking around with this one because I know it has been a long one. We appreciate it. If you stuck around, like, I don't know, like, thank you so much. Like, that means a lot to us. I know it means a lot to me.
I do want to shout out the people who are watching right now because looking at like YouTube videos, like the people who have been watching, they watch longer every week. I've noticed.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
That's a good feeling to me. So I don't know who you are out there, but like,
yeah,
I love you. I appreciate you.
Absolutely. So yeah, like the video, comment on it. We'd love to know what you thought of Borat 2. I think it's a movie that's definitely going to like take up a lot of discussion over the next couple weeks.
Sure.
Like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of movies over the course of the pandemic, like the conversation, like in and out, like pretty much immediately. And I feel like this one is actually going to like stick around for a little bit, which I'm excited to see. I don't know. I guess I don't know. I forgot to mention this a little bit, but like, this isn't related to our podcast at all, but like, I don't know if you like watching Borat 2 and like Sacha Baron Cohen. Trial of Chicago 7 is also out. Go watch that on Netflix. That's like, you know, like second or third favorite movie of the year. Like Sacha Baron Cohen having a good couple of weeks right here.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram. We'll have all our links down in the description, everything like that. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week. We're gonna do Drag Me to Hell. I'm very excited.
Yep.
Tuck some Raimi up in here.
Okay.
So yeah, thanks for watching, guys.
See you next week.